we're back. Today we're going to talk about the Nissan VQ35DE engine. This engine was introduced in 2001 in the Pathfinders and is still in use today. It is a 3.5 liter V6 dual overhead cam engine design, features aluminum block, aluminum cylinder heads. This is a very loved engine design. Obviously it is still in use today for a reason. We've got it in everything from large SUVs to small SUVs to performance sports cars. So given all of that, we already know you've got solid horsepower. It gets very good fuel economy, and it's just a smooth performance ride. This is a very tuner mod friendly engine. There are a lot of parts and swap kits available out there, and you can really get a lot of horsepower out of this engine if you do it right. Despite being one of the superior V6 engine options out there, there are always a couple of things that we have to look out for. So number one is oil consumption. This thing consumes and drinks oil like no other. In itself, not a huge problem. Make sure that you are checking and filling and changing your oil just the way that you're supposed to. Rumor has it that this engine is very sensitive to the quality of fuel that you put in it. So just a heads up there. Make sure you're using the correct oil for your vehicle. Try to avoid excess idling and you should be okay. Rumor has it that the cats are to blame for this, and if you have experience with this specific issue, I would love to hear about it. So what they say is that ceramic powder and dust from the catalytic converters can recirculate its way back into the engine, causing scoring on the inside of the cylinder walls. This is obviously going to lead to compression issues and oil consumption. There are a lot of aftermarket cats available out there if you do have this problem, but I'm just curious to see if this is something you guys have run into. Nissan has been improving on this engine design basically since they came out with it. At one point, it did receive a pretty large upgrade where they reinforced the block, they had upgraded cylinder heads, different intake manifold style. And then of course, we're all familiar with the rev up version of this that was used in the 350Zs and some of the Infiniti G35s that gave it a nice little horsepower boost for the sports cars. Timing chain failures are something that we see here. Obviously, if you hear rattling or slapping or anything that isn't normal, definitely take it in to get it looked at. You don't want to have to deal with catastrophic engine damage from a timing chain jumping. We also hear a lot about oil leaks, and a lot of times it will be coming from the valve cover gasket. This is something that will deteriorate on any engine over time. Valve cover gasket is exposed to a lot of heat and will eventually deteriorate. Oil leaks do become more of a problem when they are happening for long periods of time, or when there are a lot of them. It can become a safety or a fire hazard, so just something to look out for. There really isn't much else, guys. Every now and then you might have an overheating issue, or you might have some rough idle times, but other than that, this engine definitely boils down to maintenance. You are more than likely to get into 6-figure mileage before you have any type of major engine damage. I would love to hear about it. If you have ever modded or tuned one of these, let me know in the comments.